Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us. I have Franca with us, and Franca has taken the intuitive composition course, and I've invited her to share her experience with you. We're going to talk about that a little bit just so that you can hopefully get some unanswered questions resolved. And Franca, do you want to just share a little bit about your how you've sort of gotten to be where you're at in your art practice, and just kind of a little bit about your background, if you will. And thank you so much for joining me here, because it's a real treat to have you here and spend some time talking with you.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, Pauline. I came from the fashion business. I used to illustrate for my work, but about 27 years ago, my life, I had a big shift, and I stopped drawing for a living. I did something else. So that's been 27 years, and I was looking for something to really sink my teeth into creatively this past winter with the pandemic, and I saw your video on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
And I was taken with it. Your flair. I just thought, wow, this girl knows what she's doing. It was very exciting for me to see. I just related to you. I saw others, but there was something about your videos that I really loved. And when I saw that you were offering a class, I thought, oh my, that's fantastic. Yeah, I was really excited about that. So that's kind of how I came to you.
I remember you reaching out to me, and I think through email. And for anyone who's concerned about courses, Franca doesn't do the Facebook group, so you do not have to do that if that's not your cup of tea, because we do this course on the platform. But Franca, you reached out to me through email, and I really like your energy as well. So it's really great having had you there, but also you're in our mentorship as well. So it's been really nice chatting with you there as well. I'm really impressed that after you took such a long time away from something that you really liked to do, which was draw, that you came back to it. And that's really impressive. And it's something that I hope for anyone who's passionate or has a desire to create, to really, embrace it, because if you want to do it, it's what you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's deeply ingrained. And I think listening to you talk about, everybody's got that in them, something, and you just have to find it, push it, and bring it out. So I'm really glad I did it. Really glad.
Yeah, me too. And something that I had chatted with another artist was sometimes we don't want to give ourselves permission to do what we want to do, or we get this idea that you have to be XYZ to be a proper artist, or even how much time you're allowed to dedicate to it, or how much money you should spend on it. And I remember mentioning this last year too in a video, but I liken art making and what you have to, time wise invest in it, as well as money wise. I put that right up there with getting a golf membership and playing golf, going, the whole winter, getting a membership so you can ski the whole winter. There's all sorts of things that we do. Like people, I have a friend who has several cars because he likes racing cars. People love to travel, so these are all things that take a certain amount of time. And if you want to do it well, like even when you want to travel, you need to do your research, and then you have to go through some of that grunt work, or even, bopping around somewhere new and feeling awkward. You don't know where everything is, right? So, and I'm sure you agree with that too, that just that whole, just do what you want, right? You're worth it.
Yeah. There was a beginning for me in all this with your course. I was very nervous. I thought, I'm not an artist anymore. I'm not really an artist, maybe at all. I don't know. And I think I mentioned that in one of the classes. which was wonderful because I love the way you listen to everybody, and you really do take the time to talk to everybody about specific needs. I think that's really generous of you, but I appreciated you listening. And yeah, I didn't feel like I could call myself an artist, but I absolutely feel like one now. And I have to thank you guys all for that, because I wasn't the only one feeling that. And it was nice to do it as a group, to talk about it as a group. So yeah, I was nervous. I thought, I'm not good enough. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. But I don't feel that way anymore. So that helped me immensely. I grew that way. I gained the confidence that I knew I needed. I just was feeling so insecure, but I don't feel that way anymore. Now I'm taking this course again because I know I'm going to get even more out of it. Sometimes when you do something twice, it's even better. You get more second time round.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I totally agree with you, and I am amazed at how many times, like, I do a lot of studying too. I've got this design book over there, and it's really, really gnarly. I have to read some paragraphs like 15 times because I'm not quite grasping it, you know.
yeah.
But I think that when we pay attention to the way that we learn and what it is that we are struggling with, and actually giving it some love, giving it some attention, in rather than being overcome by the frustration. It's fine to be frustrated, because that's telling you that you want something and you're not getting it. That's a clue. That's a really great,
Yeah.
it's totally okay to be frustrated, because then you at least know, I want this, but I'm not getting it. And that's okay. You just got to keep working away at that. It's way
Right.
better to be frustrated than numb and not trying, because at least you are targeting something, and now you have to sort of get analytical and step back and say, okay, well, maybe I need to go at it from this angle or whatever. So I totally agree with you that we each have our ways of learning, and definitely, I mean, I think I have to hear something at least 3 times for it to really sink in.
Yeah, me too. I'm just that kind of learner, you know, it doesn't always resonate the first time. But yeah, you are exposing yourself. So I think it takes a lot of courage to be an artist and to let your insides out, basically. And you do that every day. I watch you, and I think it's great. Yeah, I think it's wonderful, because you're doing it in front of a lot of people too. That's very brave.
You start to learn how to, on things that are difficult, like negative feedback, I've learned to take it with a grain of salt. And I appreciate the people that I have such a huge community now of artists that our paths cross, and there's chit chat and support and that. And I love the kudos, but also those have to be taken as a grain of salt too, so that I don't get tipped, you know, thrown off the boat when a negative wave comes my way.
Yeah, I get it.
But I think it's really, it's balanced, and it's really, it's just about all the things that I have done. And I'm sure you'll agree, or at least I imagine, that I seem to be spreading my wings feather by feather, and every time I go a greater increment, I can see that I can do so much more.
Yeah, that's just called one step at a time, right?
Yeah.
If you don't try, though.
Yeah, if you don't try, and what's the point? Yeah. I had asked you to think about a couple things you might like to share. One of the questions also that I wanted to ask you was, how do you feel taking the intuitive composition course has affected your art practice now?
Well, I think I'm braver than I was. You showed us some techniques for sure, a lot of beautiful techniques. But I also think, you know, more importantly, if you don't have the courage to try something new, whether it's a medium or, you know, just a new style or something, you're not going to do it. So that's what I got from the course. I got the confidence and some courage to try new things. And I'm happy with what I've done. I'd like to do more. I really want to do so much more, but I'm happy with what I've learned so far. And I feel like I've stretched a little bit. Abstract is not something I ever would have tried 20 years ago or 27 years ago. I was definitely doing some realism with some a lot of gesture, but never would I have dreamed of doing abstract. I like buying that kind of thing, but I never thought I'd ever do it myself. But watching you and trusting myself, you know, I'm doing it.
Yeah,
And I like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
very happy.
wonderful. It's wonderful to see your work. You've been posting on Instagram, and it's been really beautiful to see your work evolving and the things that you're trying. And you are, I know, I remember when you didn't want to call yourself an artist, and it's really, really nice to see you sinking into your truth more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I have a long way to go. Well, I have a long way to go, Pauline, but you know, it's okay. I'm just happy to learn a little bit every single week. So yeah, that's important.
Yeah, and that's, I think, you know, to be fair, no matter where we are in our journey, we're always learning just a little bit more every day. Because I just looked at my website and the progression of my work this week with you guys in the membership, and
Yeah,
how
that was
much,
interesting.
yeah, how much my work has changed. It would not have changed if I wasn't willing to learn, if I wasn't willing to risk or make a mess, or even show my work, you know, stick it in a winery and hope that, you know,
Yeah.
the winery owner doesn't kick me out, or that people don't laugh if I walk in, or, you know, you just don't know, right?
No.
But it's worth it, right? Because you're showing up for your life, for the things that you dream about. One step forward toward that dream will get you that much closer, right?
Yeah, and the intuition part, learning to trust what's inside of you, not, you know, watching somebody else and doing what they're doing, but trusting your own judgment. That was something I kept coming back to over and over and over again throughout this whole course. That was really important. Those were the moments where I remember stopping and thinking the most. You know, I want to think more in my art practice, but the intuitive moments were the ones I remember the most. It's good. It's all good. Yeah.
I love that, actually, that aspect of it. And there, I'm really happy that I was able to put these two concepts together in a course that I can help other people follow their inner wisdom, because I started paying attention for my art practice, that probably, well, obviously over the last 10 years, but even before, when I was a graphic designer, even before that, when I was in art school, there were certain things that were tough. But if I really got quiet and listened, I was like, my nose can take me places like nobody's business. Like, there is nobody that can give me a guarantee like my nose will give me a guarantee. This is the way you got to go. And that, I'm sure, is from listening to your intuition and your inner nudges and your inklings. And that has served me, I don't know how many times with my art practice. Like, I didn't know what I was going to do. I just did what seemed like the right thing to do, like the next step, not worrying about, will I get into that show, or how much money will I make, or how many paintings will I sell? That was not my driver. My driver was, okay, what do I feel like I want to do next?
Yeah.
And that's what I do in my art practice. And that's what I try to help other people see in their journey as well.
Yeah, that helped me so much. I never really thought of it that way before.
Mm.
The whole art thing, it was, I did things that I learned. I tried to stick to rules and that kind of thing. And in the old days, I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
now it was a totally different spin on the art for me, because you have to listen to your gut, which is your intuition, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of brain involved, but I think most of it is instinctual.
Yeah, and we do fill our repertoire. Like there are things that come into our knowingness because of what we learn. And what's beautiful about that is it slips into the background, and some of that becomes part of your intuition that helps you make decisions where you don't even have to think about it.
Right,
You're
right.
told to do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
great.
been fantastic.
That's great. I'm so
Yeah.
happy for you, and it's wonderful to watch you just keep going. I know you're really busy right now, but you're still doing art, and and you have listened to what you need, and you've been working on smaller pieces so that you can do what you need to do,
Yeah.
and also do your art, which is what you need to do. So I think even that alone is demonstrating that you are listening to what it is that you need for yourself. And that's really what we want anyway, as artists, is to take what's in here and bring it out to the world.
Yeah, I figure it's better than nothing at all. So I'd rather do a little bit, as often as possible than to try and take on a huge project. And, I have an empty wall in my living room.
Ooh.
Well, that's my goal, is to make a massive painting someday, but oh my, that's going to be a while. 6 by 6 inch, 12 by 12 inch, 16 by 16 and onward. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I really appreciate you sharing with us, and I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but I really, really appreciate you sharing your truth. And so I'm just going to ask you one thing. If you were to look at what your big takeaway from the intuitive composition course that you could share with other people that are not quite sure about the course, or they'd love to, but what else what do you think about that? What would you say?
Well, I appreciated how much time you spent with everyone, which was like a real classroom kind of feel. You were able to talk to everybody about their own needs, because they're all different. And I appreciated that. Watching you do that was really nice. There's not that many people who would be that generous with their time for each person. So that was great. And again, for me personally, it was confidence building. I learned a lot just by watching you and hearing you. And sometimes you were drilling it into everybody's head. Good stuff, all good stuff. Just things like composition and design and technique. And I got a lot out of it. I really did. Well worth the money. Like, take her class, everybody. Take her class, because it was very, very good. I'm so excited about taking round 2. Seriously. Yeah.
That's great news. It's going to be great having you there, and I am really looking forward to this again. I've added a couple of weeks into it, and a rest week, because I keep learning too. And the things that I've learned have been really, really juicy nuggets that help stitch more together. So I'm super excited about bringing that into the course as well.
Yeah, me too. I'm dying to see. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Franca. I really, really appreciate you taking the time, and I'll let you go, but it's just been a real pleasure chatting, and thank you for sharing all that you have about your experience.
No problem. I'm happy to do so. Mwah. Thank you, Pauline.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.